Everybody. My name's Rose Diamond, and I'm the creator of Tribe in Transition. And this morning, I've invited Sundy Gilchrist to come along and help me to tell you about my new Tribe in Transition Transformational Practice Community. And I'm very excited about it. And thank you so much, Sundy, for being here with me today.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So yeah, Sundi's been on the journey with me for 5 years, starting in around the time of COVID when I began working on the Sitting with Death and Choosing Life program. So we've been on a long journey together. So probably more than anybody else, Sundi knows my work and what I'm offering very well. So yeah, really happy to be talking with you today, Sundi.
Yeah, it's lovely to be here, Rose. And you're right. It was around the COVID time when I don't know how I found you. And I did, and I'm so grateful that I did because the amount of learning and growth. I think if there's a word to describe myself through being in your realm, it's that I've softened and I've opened. And before I was quite feisty, opinionated, full of fight and pain and anguish, I suppose. And so it was the choosing, sitting with death and choosing life that I first came into your container. And some of the words and some of the modalities that I've evolved for myself have come through you. And I see you as a mentor and as a wise elder. And I'm really excited that I'm one of the founding members in your new community, online community. And I know that there's, from my point of view, the community holds, I don't know if you call them levels, but they're different areas where you can be in connection with you and in different learning environments with you, and structured in ways that help people to expand into what you call a transformational practice. And that, I suppose, my first question, like, how would you describe Tribe in Transition? Tell me the history of all of that.
Yeah. Well, I actually created Tribe in Transition in 2013. So it's been going for quite a while now, and it grew out of a previous project I had, which was a whole new world. So in a whole new world, I was very much focused on the possibilities, the possibilities of the new consciousness. I was aware that we were moving into this new, more expanded state of consciousness as a species, and what was the whole new world we were going to create together. And then I can't remember exactly what my thinking was, but around 2013, I thought, no, actually, that's the destination. That's where we're going. Hopefully, that's where we're heading, into creating a new culture together. But we're actually on the journey, and it's the journey that's important, and it's the journey that I want to explore and support. So then that became Tribe in Transition. And clearly, we are right in the middle of our transition now. When you look out into the world, it's absolutely clear that, well, you could just see it as a complete disaster. A lot of people probably do see it, it's a complete disaster, chaos, turmoil, suffering, death, destruction. That's part of it. But you could also choose to see that as part of a transformational process where the old is falling apart, is being torn apart in order for something new to emerge. That's how I choose to see it. That's how I feel it in my heart. And my job, along with so many other people doing similar work, obviously, is to help people, is first of all to understand this very complex process of transition, and then because I'm primarily an educator, that's my first kind of calling, is to be an educator. I've been learning the skills of that. I've been mapping the journey and learning the skills, and then bringing other people together to journey with me. And together, we put our stories together, and we start to get a bigger picture of what's happening. So the Tribe in Transition is really, I follow this whole trajectory from spiritual awakening to remembering soul, embodying soul, through the shadowlands of grief and loss and death, trauma, towards becoming empowered creators. I see that it is that kind of journey that we have to, and that's the work we were doing in Sitting with Death and Choosing Life, of course, is that we can't avoid the difficult stuff. We can't, if we try and push it away, the stress at the moment, I mean, everybody's really stressed. We try and push it away, it just gets it stops us, it blocks us. So in order to, the only way out is through. That's my one of my things. The only way out is through. So if I want to be an empowered creator, I need to also tend to my wounds, my history, to clearing a space for the creation. So that's what I that's what tribe transition is. It's this
Thank
journey.
you.
And I think we'll talk more later about the different things that I offer, but I think the main
Yeah.
thing that's important is to offer safe spaces where people can come together to explore their own experience. It's not about me saying, "Oh, I know the truth." It's about you finding your own the truth of your own experience. And when we do that together, it's so much easier. That's what I find.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Rose. Because as somebody coming into your realm, I love calling it realm because it feels like a realm. It feels like a really big space that's held by somebody who is great at holding the space, and I felt like I could be me, possibly for the first time ever. I felt like it was safe enough to bring all of me into a space. It makes me feel emotional saying this because before it felt like I was going to be judged or criticized or I didn't fit into the norm. And that's what I've loved about your container. It feels like it's okay to be all of me. Even the feisty, kind of a bit belligerent, scared, I was scared. And, I can imagine that many, many people are scared of being absolutely seen and received and encouraged to be. Because I know one of the programs is called Create, and that's my understanding is that is touching into people's creativity and their unique contribution to the planet. And the other thing I want to say about Tribe in Transition, it feels like the word that came was, it felt like it was a place of in this troubled world that we live in, it feels like a place where I can relax and actually breathe a bit and feel comforted. That was the word, comforted. And then there's a part of me that jumps in and say, like the judger in me says, like, how can you be comforted in the world? How can you be at peace in a world that's so struggling? And yet, through your description of what you said, this breaking apart for something to come new, I imagine the earth cracks and crumbles when there's a seed coming through it. And I really get it. And there's the comfort in that, a real deep comfort. So for me, being a member of Tribe in Transition has been quite, it covers a lot of what I need in this time and my own growth. So there's, you call it a practice community. So would you like to explain what is a practice community?
Yeah. Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for saying that about the, appreciating the safe container that I've been creating. I think that's the feedback I get for people who stay, and there've been like others like yourself who stay with me now over several years. And that's where I got the idea for the practice community. Well, actually, it's seeded way back, but on this time, because I saw that when people were willing to commit over a period of time to coming into these groups to explore your own truth and release your wounds and be vulnerable, be seen, that when that happens over a period of time, I was able to see the changes that were happening. I mean, it's a gradual process, and that gave me such a fulfillment sense of fulfillment to see that happening in others. It's like, because when you're just running short courses, people come and they go, but when people come over time, then I can really see the difference that I'm making in your life and other people's life. And it's not just me either. It's the group, it's the power of the group. When a group comes together, and I call it intentional community, into an intentional space where the intention is to transform, to heal, to encourage others, to
mm,
be like you were talking about unconditionally accepting. These are skills that we need to learn and develop. And I think I'm able to hold that kind of space now because I've been doing it for a long time. It's like I started working with groups when I was 30. It's like over 40 years ago. And so I've learned a thing or two. I don't always get it 100% right, but um yeah, just to have that space where everything's okay. Everything's okay. It doesn't matter if we have people showing up sometimes who are angry, people show up and they're in tears, excited, joy. It doesn't matter. It's like it's all part of the human condition. It's all part of the
mm,
human experience.
mm.
So
I know that I participated when I was really unwell and I was laid down.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, just the important thing is to show up. That's what
Yeah.
the important is to show up consistently. And to and that's part of the practice, the idea of the practice community really is that what I want to encourage people to do. And I'm going to give a step-to-step process so you don't have to jump in, to a year's commitment. But I do want to encourage people to come in, and with the idea that this is something that you can be part of over time. This is something that where a place where you can be held because it's stressful. The world is a stressful place for all of us. And the practice, I believe that what people are really looking for um inner peace, a place of wholeness. With wholeness is already there, it's already within us. How can I live more from that place of wholeness, from that state of joy and peace and creativity and contribution, feeling that I'm making a contribution? How can I live in a stable way from that place when there's so much chaos and suffering and distraction going on around me? That's the question I'm really asking with the practice community. And I know from both from my own experience and from working with others that it's a process that takes time, and it's a process that we can choose that but we
Mm,
need to choose it every day. We need to choose it moment by moment, to reconnect with wholeness, to reconnect
mm.
with peace, to
Have you got
reconnect with love.
have you got an example of what a daily practice might be? I
Well,
know you gave us so many. Maybe
yeah,
I should be
well,
remembering one.
I mean, the thing, I always start all my group sessions off with a meditation, a grounding in. And that's
Uh-huh.
like we're coming in from all our own separate corners. We've been doing this and that. We might be feeling frazzled, we might be feeling depressed, whatever it is. But we come into a space and I lead people through like a 10 minute grounding in meditation, brings us starting with the breath, just starting with just coming into your inner world, starting with the breath, connect with the body. It's connecting. I direct people to connect with the earth, connect with the cosmos, connecting with our resources. So what happens on a busy day is we're rushing around and we forget that we have all these resources available to us. But when we just spend 10 minutes just coming into a very quiet space, breathing, connecting with the body, connecting with the earth. I notice that at the end of that 10 minutes, we all emerge and we're ready, we're open, we're ready, we're receptive. We have something to contribute. So that's a
Mm,
very simple process. And that's what um, I offer a lot of those very simple meditations.
mm. One of the things that I've really learned through being with you and immersing myself into your methods and wholeness is that speaking with no, like, sharing from the heart in the moment, things come out of me that I didn't even know were there. It's like I'm in that moment of truthness of who I am, and it might be very different in 5 minutes time. And sometimes I'll find myself saying, I was sharing and no, I don't believe that anymore. So it's like I was always kind of reaffirming myself in that way, and also listening to others, not jumping in my this fix it thing. I learned so much about how to give and receive space in communication and not jump in, and that has been absolutely mind-blowingly beneficial to me and to others, because yeah, I can't tell you how listening and hearing and sharing in the practices that you do has been so
Yeah.
revolutionary for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I call the process of discovery. It is so
Yeah.
simple. It's so simple that, people might say, well, what difference is that going to make? But just coming
Mm,
together, in a group and really taking the risk to speak from that place where you don't know where you're going, like
Mm.
we more or less doing that now as we have
Yeah,
this
yeah.
conversation. We don't know where the conversation's
No.
going. But it's like as we in a group where you give each other space and we listen deeply to ourselves and to each other, and things come out that you didn't think you were going to say, and then that sparks off somebody else, and they get, they remember something, and they
Mm.
so it's like you were talking at the beginning about, you feel like you've been valued for your uniqueness, and it's like this is a path of authenticity. It's a path of becoming our unique selves, growing into our sovereignty, our unique selves. And that means letting go of everything that is not true for us and then
Mm.
stepping more and more into what is true, into our own truth. And I think these groups where people, it's a kind of practice ground for stepping more into our own truth, taking the risk of being seen, taking the risk of being heard, of being vulnerable, of being exactly who we are. And also on the other side of that, practicing holding each other in unconditional love and acceptance.
Mm.
So we don't necessarily always agree with what the other person's saying.
Yeah.
We don't see things the same way, but we can still hold that person. We can still connect with that person in our heart. So I think what happens is that, we are each different, but I think the difference is the tip of the iceberg, and under that, 90% of us is underneath the water, and that's our common humanity. And so both of
Mhm.
those things get stirred when we come together in these circles to share. We connect in with our authentic truth, and we also connect with our common humanity.
Mm.
It's very
So
beautiful. It's very simple and beautiful, but it
it
works.
is. It does work. It does. Yeah. So who is this for? Like who is this for? This
Well,
exploring
I think it's for people like you and me, Sunday. It's for
and.
it's for people who are on their own conscious healing path, who kind of understand that have some understanding what's going on in the world, and know that we're actually active participants in that we're not just sitting waiting for enlightenment to fall upon us or whatever it is we want. We're actually actively participating in our own healing, in our own transformation. And so that's a really important part of it. And also for people who are might be creative, might be change agents, working to change the world, working with other people. And that's always been my, thing. It's like, I want to learn for myself. I want to learn from inside out, then I want to share it. So those are the kind of people that I tend to attract, is people who are already, well on the journey, who already have some skills. But over the years of Tribe and Transition, I've worked with people of all ages, from, teenagers right through to having a 90-year-old gentleman. And one occasion was coming to some of my groups. So age doesn't matter, it doesn't matter where we're from in the world, doesn't matter what color of our skin, doesn't matter what, we're all in this process of transition now. We're
Mm.
all in it at different stages. Um, but I think the actual focus of Tribe in Transition is, how do we get to fully embody this more expanded stage of consciousness which is available to us now, where we know, not just with our head but with our heart, that everything
Mm.
is interconnected, that we are part of an interconnected world, that each one of us matters, each one of us matters, each one of us makes a difference.
Mm.
That's what and we need to embody that and embrace that on a daily basis. And as I keep saying, that's not an easy thing. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Mm. Yeah, thank you for all of that, Rose. Well, you've got me because I love your work. I love being in that environment. Like I say, it shaped and changed me enormously over these 5 years into somebody that I don't remember what it was like before, but I know that I feel very shifted and very honored, privileged to have found you yeah, it's kind of special. It's kind of special place that you've created. So
Thank you,
thank
Sandy.
you. And
Well,
I
I feel
wonder,
very honored to have found you too, because it's like nobody can do this on their own. It's like,
mm,
in order to create a community, I need to attract the people who need and want and ready for that community.
mm,
And I'm hoping that I have the vision for the community I have. I'm not looking to create a huge, I want a community where people are actually engaged with each other, who are actually connected with each other,
mm,
um, who are there because they know they can't do this on their own, really,
mm.
and that
And
together we're stronger.
this is online, isn't it? So yeah,
Yes, it's all online. It's all on.
and open to anybody globally.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I have, as you know, I lived in New Zealand for a while, and I have good friends and community over there, which is a bit of a stretch time-wise. But I'm hoping that at some point we can bring in people from New Zealand, Australia,
Mm,
the States, wherever. It's open to anybody globally.
yeah,
I mean, I'm really curious. It's like. Um, I'm curious about how people see things, what it's like to be living in New Zealand at the moment, what it's like to be living in South Africa, what it's like to be,
mm,
experiences that people are having. Again, they're kind of different, a different flavor, but we're all going through the same transition and transformation.
mm. So, do you want to explain to me a little bit about exactly what you are inviting us all into?
Um, well, I've built over the last few months, I've been building an online purpose-built community space on a platform called Mighty Networks. And that's going to be our home in a way, because I've been holding this vision, Sundi, since 2006. That was when I first had the idea of a transformational learning. It was called a transformational learning community at that time, TLC. Now I think it's important to emphasize practice, but this is the first time that I've actually built a purpose-built online home for it. And within that home there are many within the mansion there are many rooms, so there's a place where we can all interact together, a bit like you would on Facebook, but with the intention of exploring the themes that we're following. And then there's different levels. So I'm already the first level to come in, as you talked about, you came in, and then there's the Women Create group, who they are on a year-long journey together. And then what I want to start, I'm trying to make it easy for people to come in with a step-by-step process. So the first step is for people to get my guidebook called Thriving in Times of Radical Uncertainty. That's one of the things I do, is I provide these kind of, like, all the stimulus materials, and they're intended to get people thinking and feeling into the themes that I want us to explore. So that's the first step. Get the guidebook, read the guidebook, do the simple practice that's in there. Then come along and join an online group conversation where we will discuss that, explore that theme. Gives people a little taste of, how it works. And then if you're getting a sense that you like what you're tasting, the next step would be an introductory offer, which you can come and join the community for 4 months. And at the level where you would have the monthly stimulus materials plus a monthly conversation, and you'd also get to engage within the online forum where you can connect with people. So that's where I'm beginning. It's like simple steps.
Okay, so I would get your sign up, get your email with your what did you call it? Your ebook.
Yeah,
What was the title again?
Thriving in Times of Radical Uncertainty.
You see that title actually? Yeah. Oh, can I read that, please? Because it's the thriving bit that is like, it's all right surviving, but actually thriving within the chaos is like, oh yes,
Exactly.
please let me read that. So then, as a result of that, then I get invited to a Zoom call.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, and then if I like all of that, then there's a method for me to get into the container that you would provide more stimulus material and Zoom calls for 4 months, did you say?
Yes, over 4 months. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
so the guidebook and the initial conversation, that those are free, those are gifts. And then when you join as a member, there are I think fairly modest fees, and you can go on later to higher levels, but at the beginning it's a modest monthly fee. But the introductory offer of 4 months, you pay, you commit to 4 months. I just want people that gives people time to sort of really get a taste of what it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
then after that, there will be, opportunities to deepen into other, into more healing streams or into more creating streams. That's what I'm envisaging in the future. There'll be a sort of healing transformational stream and a creating stream. And of course they all, they're all,
In
everything's connected,
interwoven. Yes.
interwoven, yes. But I think people are at different stages of that journey. Some people
Yeah.
need more the holding for the healing, and other people need to take off and have a bit of
Create.
support to create.
Yeah. I think that's great. Fabulous. Anything else about the community that you've created, the online space?
Um, well, I don't know. I mean, I just what I've identified sort of five or six essential forms of support, really, and all of the community is built around these four. So one of them is the intentional community, having an intentional community that's coming here for the purpose of, a purpose of transforming,
Mm-hmm.
embodying, becoming the new human, if you like, creating the new culture. That's the purpose. So there's the intentional community, there's the inquiry, so the guidebooks, the inquiry, the personal inquiry, the group inquiry, the discovery, the holding, creating islands of coherence in the storm, so creating places of sanity where I'm here. I've got back to my island of sanity. I can rest, I can renew, I can go away feeling renewed. That's what happens. I see that happen every time.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but this is
No,
what happens every time. We all come, me included, at the
a
beginning of
bit, a
time.
bit. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm tired. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, by the end of the meeting, and we always do a check out, the end people are feeling just so much better, so much
Yeah.
more alive, expanded. So there's the inquiry. There's the practices. So when I talk about a practice community, it's like simple practices that we repeat daily, simple practices, little by little,
Mm.
and encouragement, accountability, encouraging people to stay with it. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
the
thank you for that.
authenticity, the support of authenticity. These are all aspects of the community.
Yeah.
And
Building relationships, I think that's one of the with each other,
yeah, exactly.
offline as well, and taking responsibility for our contribution.
Yeah,
So that, like, I know that you are kind of, in inverted commas, the leader, and a lot of people tend to look at, but I felt it, this encouragement to become responsible for myself and become my own leader,
exactly.
and take the shared responsibility, so that not the 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 host, the creator, isn't always the one that's holding everything together. It's like this co-creation of community
Yes,
in the
exactly.
real sense of the word.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I see myself as a space holder,
Mm,
and I felt it has been, creating this community is, I feel like this is what I'm here for, actually. It's pulling together the threads of my lifetime's work,
mm,
really. It's something that's very meaningful to me, and it's something that I've taken on. It's like a soul calling, a soul work.
mm,
But I don't see myself, I don't want to be the one who's always leading, or
mm,
I want to create a community of people who are participating, who are engaged, who and hopefully over the year, long term, over the years, this will develop into something which doesn't need me that much.
mm.
You know, it's my legacy projects. It's something I want to
Yeah,
leave behind in a way, and I just think it's so needed at the moment to
yeah,
because where at the more the more time we come together and build these relationships that you were just talking about, the more trust there is, the deeper the container, the more expanded the container, the more we can hold. And therefore, the more powerful the transformation. That's the thing, that's in a way, all we need to do is just hold these very safe containers and allow people to speak from their hearts, from their pain, from their joy, and to listen, to just to listen and receive them. That's the simplicity. Is there's nothing complicated about it, but it's somehow in this complex world to walk a path of simplicity is not easy. That's what I'm inviting people
It's
into.
a real gift that you've got, Rose, that you actually create that from your frequency, from your energetic presence. You know, it's like what I see is you're creating a model that could be replicated across the whole of the globe.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I'm sure there are, I'm sure it is happening across,
Yeah, I'm sure too. It's just
because
that this is this particular frequency, and that people that are attracted to it will come
yeah, exactly. It is all about
and
frequency.
tell others, you know, because
Yeah,
that's what my intention is, to invite people, come be in this space, come
yeah,
see if this is the space for you to be held and to explore and to become the fullness of who you are, and grounded and solid, and with some communication skills to boot, you know.
exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm attempting to do, is to give
Mm,
people doable steps. I mean, there
mm,
is a level also where if people don't want to come and join in the conversations, they don't feel, either they don't have the time, or it's not their thing, you can just get the materials and do the
uh-huh.
inquiry on your own, and join in on the forum. So there's a whole level of, I've tried to
Yeah.
design it so that people can come in at the level where they can grow. And
Mm,
it's not, I want people to commit over time, but you can take that step by step. If
yeah.
it's not for you, okay, fine.
It seems to me that it's like it's fulfilling this belonging thing. You know, we want to belong, we want to participate and be included, we want to feel like we've got worth and value and something to contribute, and all of those. And that's this feels like a space where all that can be emerge. And I love the way, you know, that's one of your words, emerging. You know, it's like things emerge in
Mm,
time. Yeah.
yeah.
So, is there anything else that you want to add? I mean, I got a phrase that you said the other day, which was tribe in transition, and I can't quite tribe in transitional transformational practice community. Have I got that right?
Yeah, the tribe in
Yeah.
transition and transformational practice community. I know it's a lot, it's a lot, big mouthful, but that's
But you
what it is.
said something when we have a chat before. It's a place to come to
For
have
great
great
conversation.
conversations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the power of conversations is something that's been it started for me when I was in my 30s, and I trained as a Gestalt therapist, and just watching the skills of my trainers who could just basically sit down with somebody and have a conversation. It seemed like they were just having a conversation, and it started over here and it ended up over there. And in the process of that conversation, you could feel your whole being was shifting and changing. So that started for me my love of conversations. And then later on, with my soul friend Woods, we developed this amongst ourselves, deep discovery conversation. We would just sit together and speak from a place of presence, and ah, it's just, there's something just magical about that process of conversation, where you are in a way unfolding yourself moment by moment, and you're saying things that you didn't know you knew. It's the same when I'm writing as well. I write something, I look back on something I wrote 10 years ago, and whoa, how did I say that? Where did that come from? It's the
Mm.
same when you're having a conversation and you're held in a safe space where you can be very present, and something just starts to flow through you, which is you weren't expecting. And I think that's one of the skills of transformation, is about to be present, and to be able to be in the not knowing, and just to allow life to flow through you and out of you. And when we speak from our truth in that way, it inevitably touches other people, it stirs other people, I one of the reasons I do this work is because it touches my heart, it moves my heart, it stirs my heart. It's like I come away from every group experience expanded, bigger,
Mm.
because I've been touched by you and the others who are there. You
Mm.
know, it's such a gift, you know, to be able to be in these kind of conversations. And I think these conversations are, we also we can vision in these conversations as well. We can bring in the future. So you know, to me, healing is about kind of like it's about the past, about allowing, about mending the past, if you like, releasing our energy from the past. But discovery and creating and transformation are about the future, how we create the future.
Mm.
And it's all there. All we need to do is to be present within it, come together intentionally, come together in love and trust. And we are the way. We, each one of us is so important to what's happening in the world at the moment. And I think sometimes it's possible we can forget that. We can just focus on the suffering and the chaos and the stress. We forget how important each one of us is.
Mm.
We're each a channel, we're each a space through which the universe can unfold itself.
Yeah, oh, that's gorgeous. Thank you for that. I really connected with that passion that you've got there for that. I think it feels complete at this point.
Yeah, so just to say that if people want to follow through on these steps to get the ebook, I will put the link underneath wherever this video is going to be posted. And also, if you can't find the link, just go to tribeintransition.net, and on the homepage you'll find a way to get in that way. So there's the step one is the guidebook practices for thriving in times of radical uncertainty. Step two is come to one of the conversations I'm holding on July the 16th and July the 24th. And step three is I'll tell you about more about the community and that meeting. And you can choose whether you want to actually come and join us for a trial period. So I would love to connect with you. Whoever you are who's out there listening, I would love to hear from you, connect with you, come and have a conversation with you.
Yes, and I can recommend it.
Thank you so much, Sundy.
Oh, you're welcome, Rose. Bye.
Bye bye.